Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Smoke and Mirrors presented by the Sports Hit List. I'm your host, Stephen Polius, and making his triumphant return, we have Declan Krogman and Greg Polius, who his camera's off. And as y'all already know with Greg, anything could be happening right now. But Deck, we'll start with you. How are you doing, sir? Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back, obviously. Happy to be back. Really on, just an exciting first show back. Home now, finally. Was traveling on Friday. Was on a flight at the same time as Smoke and Mirrors on Friday, so I didn't get to see the show Friday. But back now for, the rest of the holiday season, and I'll be back when I go back to school too. In January. So, like I said, happy to be back.
Nice. Yeah, we had people asking for you. I messed up on Friday, last week on Monday, and I was like, oh, he's wondering what happened to December. December flew by. And I'm like, wait, Deck, got it.
Yeah. I mean, December did fly by, but no Deck in Deck, I guess. And Des would be what would be pronounced. But yeah, I mean, who knows what Greg has going on? But Steph, always happy to be on the same show as you again. It was a nice couple of weeks of just annoying finals and a lot of sports news that I missed. So
yeah, really. Well, I mean, just so that people know, so it was just finals that got you kind of busy. How was college? How was the first semester at a new school?
Yeah, first semester was great. Had a lot of fun. A lot of the schoolwork was cool too. But it was a good time and stuff, and was very busy in December with finals, schoolwork wrapping up. I actually just got an RA position for next semester, so I
had the kid. Welcome to the club. I was an RA too.
Former RA, right?
Time.
Yeah. It's
It's freshman year though. I was like a freshman RA, which is it's more labor intensive because
that's exactly what I'm doing. So. I guess I have someone to call now. Things
you do. I was damn good.
Intense. But, yeah. So that's exciting. But December was very busy, with stuff like that, and of course fantasy football. Not after today, Steph. I mean, it looks like it's over for me.
You need a miracle. Not a miracle. You just need a really good game.
I'm going to address Peter because I miss addressing his Cowboys comments. Was he impressed with the Cowboys yesterday? Oh my God! All right, continue. Never mind.
It takes very little to impress Peter when it comes to Cowboys.
Dak Prescott does an elbow dance pregame and he's enamored. So I think it doesn't take a lot to impress Pete when it comes to the Cowboys. Zeke rushes, gets an 8-yard carry and he's off the couch. I would imagine.
So true. But yeah, I'll let you guys know how I'm doing. It's a busy week last week. First week at the job. I told you all of you on Monday. And this Monday was just as busy, if not busier. I am literally just making it to my desk in time for this show. How much I love it. But yeah, it was of course. I mean, look at this face. Whoa there. All right. So we have Don Greg with us. What's going on? Let me know what's going on here. Let the people know why you have your suit on with a cigar.
I'll be presiding over a eulogy today. And,
I see.
And before I start my eulogy, I just want everybody to know that I'm smoking on that Carl Pack one time, All right.
Sopranos cigar.
And I figure I had to wear my Sunday's best because it's the changing of a guard. And I need people to understand what's going on if you've missed it. All right. Hold on, because this takes everything. Now.
Okay, then.
A few weeks ago, I made a claim that the baseball team was the most versatile team in the sports hit list. All right. That claim seemed to hold true. And like Hannibal from the A-Team says, I love it when a plan comes together. And that's exactly what happened. Not only did Carl prove me right by then changing his show from the Wednesday show to On the Court, where they strictly focus on basketball, because why? It's clear they can't talk about anything else. They can try. But Carl did something known as a straw man or a reverse and pivot, whatever you want to call it. Carl decided that we're not, you know what? I cop to being lacking versatility. Well, let's talk about numbers. Carl wanted to talk about numbers and how the Wednesday show does all these numbers, right? But what Carl failed to mention in that rant, because as usual, out of context, Carl was on full display, right? A couple weeks prior to this episode, when he brought Mike Miller on to debate about Reggie Miller being on the NBA Top 75, who did he call to have that debate? It wasn't anyone on the basketball team. It was me. It was the baseball guy, right? And that was one of the highest rated shows since he came back. So if Carl really wants to talk numbers, let's talk numbers, right? I went and I did a video about the Adam Gase and Le'Veon Bell Jets a couple seasons ago. That video is nearing 5K as an individual. I did a video on Kawhi Leonard and why he's the most pampered superstar in the league. That video is somewhere hovering around 2K. If Carl Coulange thinks he can go out and make a football video and a baseball video and it total up to 7K views, or come close to it, then he can talk. Then he could sit at this throne with me. But until that happens, he cannot. Therefore, I am your new tribal chief. Carl has degrees in this. I do this for fun. Yet, I don't see Carl coming up and pulling up with 7K views in sports he's not even versed in, right? I do this for fun. But if Carl really wants to take it there, he can. Oh, no, I'm sorry, he can. Because you saw the GIF in the chat earlier. It was leading the funeral procession, and Carl is now in the dirt. I am your new tribal chief, the baseball guy.
Wow, everyone, that's the show, actually. You thought we were about to go for an hour, but that's the show. I mean, we might get pulled, to be honest. Last Monday, you were collecting bodies, and I guess that instead of focusing on everyone, you just kind of just honed in on Carl, boss man himself.
I'm the new boss.
I'm
Carl, I'm the captain now.
Carl, you're still out there. And I know you can pull the plug anytime. Just know I'm here and Dex here. And we love you, bro. Hey, honestly, after that, somebody need to go hug that man. Because if he's not listening, he definitely felt them shots. That was.
He's punching the air right now.
He's crying.
Carl would fight the air and lose.
You really brought out the measuring stick though. It's at 7K. Okay, heard you.
I mean, we want to talk numbers. Let's talk. And I forgot the last thing. I challenge you, Carl, to put out separate videos on these two sports and see how many views you can get and see if you can beat me. And mind you, I didn't even take my best basketball video. I took a modest basketball video just for you.
It's very nice.
Well,
I'm just to see when this can escalate into a potential, celebrity boxing match type of thing. I want to see Greg and Carl in the ring.
Honestly, he'll look worse than Woodley. You don't want to do that to him.
Oh no. Well, we'll leave the entertainment for another time. We'll talk some sports right now, actually. So long open, Greg. I'm glad to have you. You're looking good.
Carl, wait. I'm sorry. Carl is right. Because I'm sorry, Steph. He's in the comments. He said everybody was coming at Carl. You are the one who heads the basketball ship. Are you not? So you are definitely going to get most of the smoke. If you can't handle it, just say so. But I also want to address Mike Miller. Mike Miller is probably the stallion of the one-trick ponies. So he is number one. And mind you, he's a Met fan, but he can't even talk baseball. So what does that tell you about the basketball team? Ray Jarvis came on and took shots at me and said I should stay in my place. Right? I understand what Ray Jarvis did. He knew where his bread was buttered. So he had to come on and show face and save face. Because Carl is petty with it. So he may not get airtime. So we don't know.
I'm sorry.
But the rest of the team, Womack can take his shots, but Womack is probably the most versatile out of the basketball team that is basketball. I mean, since Ray want to come at me, I don't know if I'm going to put him in that category anymore. So, Carl, you are the leader of the ship. You go down with the ship. It's that simple.
Deck, is it him or is it me?
Is what? It's definitely you if you're asking.
He's breaking up.
It was definitely you.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be me now because I was like, I don't know what's going on. I could barely. You were in and out. Greg, I heard some of it. I know it was rude for sure. All right, that's a given. But we need to get into some sports.
Yeah,
All right, so we're gonna
right.
table that. We're gonna table that. All right.
Show
We
off.
appreciate you for coming out smoking. All the smoke. But let's get into sports, like I said, and we're gonna start with the absurd number of COVID cases that have really we've seen across the span of both the NBA and the NFL. Many of you probably saw your fantasy hopes in the NFL and fantasy sports and fantasy football, I should say, go up in smoke with the number of. Oh, I should start with this. The NBA, actually, the NBA fantasy sports went up in smoke for sure because my team for sure bit the dust, expecting to have some starts on Sunday, and that went to shit. But with the NFL, we have games that were knocked back to Monday, which, the Browns and the Raiders are going right now. And we have 3 more games slated. The original Monday game at 8:15. And then we have two games tomorrow, all due to COVID cases piling up in the NFL, leading up to a high of 47 cases we saw positive in the last day. It is getting really bad out there for sports. In the world, it's bad, but sports is a microcosm of that. And we're seeing so many athletes contracting what we believe is the Omicron virus just based on the presence of it and this spike in cases. But I want to start with Deck. I'll start with you here. What are you making of this circumstance, this extreme circumstance now that's back in sports, and how you feel it's impacting specifically the NFL? Because I want to go there because they're not canceling games; they're just postponing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point, it's definitely out of control, and a lot of players are criticizing the protocols, and they thought the whole forfeiting thing was going to be at the forefront of the whole COVID discussion and everything right now with the postponements and the rescheduling today's, games on Sunday getting moved to Tuesday night, Monday night. It's just completely out of control, and hopefully it can slow down.
Yeah, I agree. Greg, you have a take on this?
Yeah, I do. I mean, if you look at other places in the world, when they locked down, they actually locked down. There was never a real lockdown in the U.S. It was more like a semi-lockdown, if anything. Because why? Because we're Americans and we have our rights and we should be able to do whatever we want when we want. Sans a whole pandemic. But if the NFL is really serious about their product, they would also stop playing games the same way the NBA is. Like the NBA, we don't know when these games are going to get rescheduled as yet. Yeah. The NFL, and you see today there was the most COVID cases in one day in NFL. It's only going to get worse because now you have the fall where the seasons are changing, the flu is around, people are getting sick, immune systems are weaker, and then you add in Omicron.
Omarion, is that what were you about to call it? Omarion?
Because I've been joking about it.
Omarion's out in the streets like it's 04, serving up people left and right.
He really is. And I think they're gonna have to look hard. Definitely, Paul Lawson said it on the Sunday show. If this is the route they're gonna take, then fans need to not be allowed in the arenas. They can't have it both ways. They can't be about the almighty dollar and be about the people at the same time. That's all professional sports.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The one thing I'll say about it is I think that we were already lax. We got even more lax once people were vaccinated, expecting that it's going to be okay. You won't have to worry about deaths anymore. And as far as people contracting the virus, they should be able to fight it off. It might feel like a little cold. But with the number of cases they're having now, they have to really revisit these protocols because ultimately they're not working. They're not preventing teams from having to miss some of their star players. I mean, we talk about it with basketball all the time when, a star player is missing, the kid that bought it or his parents bought a ticket to see him, he's not going to get that anymore. And then, when in regards to load management, but now when we're talking about whole teams or like major parts of the team be missing in the NFL, also in basketball, we have to kind of think about the product. As you said, Greg, the product needs to be improved and the protocols by extension have to be improved.
Real quick, when you look at it, some of the best players on teams are missing. And look at the product tonight. The Cleveland Browns, outside of Sanders' last touchdown for the most of the game, have not looked good. They're missing the majority of starters. If the NFL wants to put a good product on the field, they need to have their players healthy.
Do you think that Baker Mayfield makes a difference tonight for the Browns?
Nope, because he's not that guy.
Right, he obviously makes a difference. I mean,
I was leading him.
He was. How much of a difference?
I think they're up in this game if he's playing. I think that they're not losing 10-7.
I also think the Raiders play differently if he's in the game.
Yeah. Do we also
that's
know,
for sure.
Do we even know like how the Raiders play as a whole? I mean, it's 10-7 with the backup quarterback. Like,
Manny likes to believe that he knows how the Raiders play, predicting them to win every week. But let's get into these Sunday games. We have a lot I want to cover here. So
yeah,
at the top, Greg, I'll start with you here. Patriots Colts. We have the Colts winning 27-17 over the Patriots. What do you make of this game here?
I mean, you guys, well, you specifically, Steph, did not believe in Carson Wentz. I can understand why.
Yeah.
But what's been the biggest saving grace for the Colts is their defense and the amount of takeaways they get. I think they're first in the league in takeaways, or if not first, they're top three. But their defense is stifling teams, and it's turning them into a playoff team. And
yeah,
I was hoping the Pats would kind of win this because I picked them in the pick'ems. But I think this is the Colts' chance to make this push for a division to win the division.
Yeah, you did. I mean, it's you and Paul.
I know. I did as well.
Kudos to that.
I took.
Oh yeah, you weren't on, but you did take the Colts. Yes.
Yes. I did take the Colts.
Oh no, Deck, please.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if we were moving on or how we were doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting game as a whole. I picked the Pats as well, and it was a tough one. But really, this Colts team, they have the ingredients to really.
You really channel your inner Travis when you're ready. You know that?
I know. I felt it too. I actually felt it. I was like,
You have to pay some homage to Travis. It's been so long.
Well, yeah, exactly. I haven't said anything nice to Travis in a while because I haven't seen him. So I'll pay tribute in some long answers. But pretty much the Colts have what a championship team really builds on, and that's an offensive line and a good defense. And right now they have a capable quarterback who's performing like
an amazing running back. Generational talent at running back.
I was getting to that.
Okay. All right. I thought you skipped it. My bad.
Are we calling him generational? I mean,
I think that
we all made with Barkley.
Generational.
Wait, did you say that was a mistake we all made with Barkley? Did we say that? Did you say that?
He said,
"Oh man, we got to clip that."
I could have told you.
Generational might be early, but the one thing that JT did that Saquon Barkley hasn't is one, stayed healthy, two, done it in more than one season. We saw the end of last season what he did, and he's absolutely blown the cap off in season 2. So generational might be a little bit much, but he is incredibly talented, and we see it time and time again. He's going against the best defenses in the league and making it look easy.
Yeah.
By comparison, I don't really see a running back this season that has run like him. The closest would be Nick Chubb as far as the efficiency. But
Moses was Henry, and then he got hurt.
What was that crazy stat about 1,000-yard rushers?
He's not efficient as well.
That against the Pats, Bill Belichick holds them to like 87.5 yards. All these 1,000-yard rushers, and he ran all over the Pats defense.
Yeah, he was like 10-2 against 1,000-yard rusher or something. 10-3 now. Steph frozen? I can't tell.
Yeah, I got to screenshot this face that he froze on. That's hilarious.
Am I back?
Oh, I missed it. Yeah, I missed it.
So it's all right.
You saw a face? You caught my face?
Nah, I missed it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Alberto Ruiz says in the comments, Jonathan Taylor also has the best O-line in the league. It's definitely up there. I mean, he definitely has the best left guard in the league in Quentin Nelson, in my opinion.
They are absolutely the best offensive line in football. That's like I was mentioning about that team. It's just
continue.
Built in the trenches, both sides of the ball.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Dick. I know I asked you to expand on it. Then I was like, JT's the best. You're like, no, he's not.
I don't know if it went exactly.
I was summarizing. That's the Spark Notes on it. Let's move on to another game, a huge upset, really, which I'm sure in the pick'ems you guys botched this one, and that's the Cardinals at the Lions.
Pick'ems in America botched that one.
I wish I knew that Goff was 8-0 against the Cards before I picked that game.
Did Ray get that one?
No, I think everybody missed on that one.
Oh man, I really
I
was
know,
hoping
right?
Ray did.
His little person inside his head that works as a bookie down in Vegas probably giving him bets now, but he's not having a good week.
Wow, shake up the standards maybe. But Deck, I'll start with you on this one. 30-12 Lions. Again, this is a team that we've seen all season long. Just bad. Golf has been bad. Defense has been bad. Really, it starts with Goff. But here it is. They beat a really good Cardinals team with a stout defense and a great quarterback in Kyler, sneaking back into that top 5 for some people, maybe. What do you make of this game? Are we reading into the Lions beating the Cardinals here?
Reading into it to what degree? Do I think they're going to run the table? Like, is that the question?
No, to kind of turn it around, though, right? It's not about running the table necessarily,
Yeah.
but getting better. This is an improvement potentially, or it could be a blip.
I mean, I'm happy for Dan Campbell because I thought the best way to turn around the season would be a win on Thanksgiving, and then they've gotten 2 since then. So he's done a really good job kind of getting that team. And just I respect you. You hear him in the press conferences. He just seems like a nice guy, and I'm rooting for the Lions. Yeah. So I hope that they can kind of turn it around. But I focus more on the Cardinals' development than the Lions in this one. I think as a whole, the Cardinals, I don't see them like they are. I'm going to call them pretenders, but it's not going to be because of who they are as a football team. They're just too injured at this point to compete seriously in the playoffs with the other teams in the NFC.
Gregor, you seem to disagree.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a matter. There's a couple things at play because they got Chase Edmonds back, and we saw how efficient that offense was when it was just James Conner as the bell cow, and it looked like there was a struggle trying to mix them in, figure out who gets the touches where, especially coming out of the backfield catching the ball. And we got to see AJ Green and Christian Kirk as the de facto X and Y, and it didn't look good without, DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's, in terms of injuries, maybe that's at play on offense, but on defense, what's really the excuse?
JJ Watt,
JJ Watt does not make the difference he used to. I'm sorry.
But JJ Watt is still a top 10 defensive end.
I mean, yes, you could say that, but it's 30 points for the Lions, though. I mean, we could. This is an offense that struggled, so I think even a JJ Wattless Cardinals team shouldn't struggle the way that they have. And I will say, Greg, you mentioned AJ Green and Christian Kirk on the outside, but you did have several games without Hopkins. So this team had one without Hopkins.
That is true. But remember, it was also, I think there was a set running game in place with just James Conner as the bell cow. I think the re-addition of Chase Edmonds kind of flustered Kingsbury a bit. And no, Kingsbury's not on a hot seat, but if they fold, they lose the division, and they somehow get ousted by a bad loss in the first round of the playoffs, I do think there are going to be some questions going into next season about Kingsbury.
I disagree. You want questions about head coaches going into next season? Look no further than New York. I think a team like Arizona, Kingsbury has full control.
Listen to what I said, though.
Go ahead.
If they go on a slide, because they were slated to win the division, right? That's not a guarantee anymore. And their schedule is not that easy going forward. And if they have a bad loss in the playoffs, if they win in the playoffs, it's a non-issue. But if they have a bad loss, I think you're going to start hearing some rumblings, given the way the media works.
But what rumblings are at hand here? Because this is a team that's been on the up.
I didn't say there were any rumblings at hand. I said there will be.
Yeah, and I'm saying that even if that's the case, I just don't see that happening because this is a team that's improved every year since Cliff Kingsbury has taken over. And now, if they get to the playoffs for the first time, they haven't been in the playoffs first time. Without DeAndre Hopkins, without some of your weapons, like this could be. I don't see them moving on from Kingsbury or even like a thought of it when you make the playoffs.
I didn't say they would. I said there would be rumblings. That's very different.
I do want to shout out the comment section real quick. Deck, finish. I don't want to cut you off.
I don't have much else to say.
Well, yeah, I just want to shout out Richard Carlo in the comment section. He does agree that I'm sorry, I'm scrolled a little bit too far past it. Here we go. This is not a blip. He doesn't believe that the Lions winning against the Cards is a blip. Then he also pointed out that the middle of the line is getting exposed, and and their third down target is gone. The Cardinals' offense is going to look very different. So I think that's kind of to what you guys were speaking to as far as this Cardinals team.
You combo Murray coming off an injury, and he hasn't looked the same. But you combo that with losing your top receiver. And Kirk and Green, as Greg mentioned, they couldn't even handle the load against the Lions to really take it to them. And their defense got shredded by Jared Goff and the Lions offense. So I think right now this is a team that I have the Packers, Bucks, Rams, Cowboys at this point just ahead of.
Understandable. Speaking of the Cowboys, we'll transition to that pretty well. Peter, hope you're paying attention right now.
Peter, where you at? I got some words for you, bro.
I'm sure he's giddy. And Greg, I'm going to start with you. Cowboys won 21-6 over the Giants. Not a surprise here. The Giants did not have anyone really to mention on the starting lineup that you would want to or be excited about. So this was an easy game for the Cowboys, but
I don't think it was. If there's anything as an embarrassing win, this was it. Okay, because the Cowboys come in head to toe as the better team on paper, the better team on the field, but yet it became the Greg the Leg show. Why? Because Dak was mid. He was a pack of Reggie in this game. The running game was sus. What is going on with this Cowboys offense that they can't even get it together against their division rival that they should honestly beat into the ground?
Yeah.
And if the Cowboys keep playing like this, they're going to be one and done. And the other thing that's going to happen, if Dak continues this downward trend, he's going to prove Ray all right this whole time. And I know Ray cannot wait for that day as much as he doesn't want to, but there will be some vindication there.
I feel that. Deck, your same thoughts?
Yeah, I think with the way the Cowboys played yesterday and the way they've played just over the past month, I don't treat this team as these, like we were talking, Super Bowl or bust, stuff like that, or teams going bowling. They're not going bowling. I'm going to say that right now. And I know I've come in hot on the Cardinals and I've come in hot on the Cowboys, but that game.
That's your stick. You say coming in hot. We get it.
I come in hot and I'm happy with it because you know what? Let's look at everything at hand right now. All they did yesterday, you mentioned Greg the Leg. Greg mentioned Greg the Leg, and that's true. They could not convert third downs. They kept the Giants in the game. If the Giants put out maybe a capable roster, I think would probably be at this point surmise how bad the Giants have gotten, because just as a whole, they are just so bad. But going back to the Cowboys, is that Dak didn't look good yesterday, and that whole team has not looked the same.
He hasn't looked good for a while.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on defense, they're a good defense. Micah Parsons.
They are. Micah Parsons is the truth, man. Him going out and covering Kenny Golladay on that pick play. I've never seen a linebacker go stride for stride with a receiver like that.
The only thing I'll say on that one is don't be completely fooled because that ball was about 10 yards underthrown by Mike Glennon.
But if you look at the slow-mo of the replay, once Parsons saw that what's the guy who stinks? Anthony Brown. Once he saw that he got picked, he immediately left his position because that would have been an open wheel route. Yes. And the instincts he had to just break off what his position in the defense and go stride for stride with Golladay, regardless if it's underthrown, he still managed as a linebacker to go stride for stride with a receiver, which is impressive. Yes. I just want to address Peter in the comments real quick. He said I'm talking about embarrassing as a Jet fan. If there's anything Jets fans have, at least the ones on this network, it's humility. We know we stink.
I didn't win over the Cowboys the last time you guys played. I see. My thing though is that Micah Parsons with that play is that all he had to go, all Mike Glennon had to do was put that ball in the end zone and Golladay runs into it. Yep. It's the terrible throw, and it wouldn't have been on Parsons had he scored. It was a good play. You're very right. And as far as Trevon Diggs goes, he is an excellent ball hawk. Absolutely, he has been bad in coverage this year, and it's okay to admit it. The statistics back it up.
He gambles. He's similar to Marshawn Lattimore. But if he's getting the turnovers and the TDs, if he has more takeaways than scores he gives up, you'll take that.
You will, especially when you got double-digit interceptions and that is so catered to offense and moving the ball downfield. Unless you play in New York, it's not even fun.
So, I've been meaning to mention this for a while. Dick, you're finally back for us to talk about it. You talked about Kenny Golladay, and man, when I heard the name, it really brought me back to the beginning of the season. When he got signed to the Giants, and you were.
Oh no, he froze.
The Giants fan. I'm not going to put you out here on a feeling like you about Galladay like he was second coming.
Steph,
But
Steph,
there
you
was a
gotta run it
comparison
back.
between
Steph,
Galladay and Corey Davis and how
Steph, you gotta run it back. You're
is
frozen.
my internet unstable?
Yeah, your internet is
Is
unstable.
my internet unstable?
Did Zoom tell you your internet is unstable? I feel like Zoom told you that.
I think Zoom definitely told him that because he knew. And nobody would say unstable.
Can you hear me now?
They would say I have a bad Wi-Fi.
We can hear you. You're just not moving in your picture. You actually look like you're about to put the baby powder in the palm of your hands. I think we lost him. So, Deck, I believe what he was going on to say is that you were very high on the Galladay signing. So much so that you poo-pooed the Jets signing of Corey Davis in lieu of Kenny Galladay.
Poo-pooed.
Yes, you poo-pooed.
Yeah,
And
the Galladay signing at the time was bigger, yes.
Chuck said Gettleman hacked the Zoom. Steph is coming back, and I'm sure when Steph comes back, he will give you guys exactly his thoughts on this. But we're going to hold off on that because I don't want to take away his thunder. Hold on. Give me 1 second here.
Oh, boy. See, this is scary. This is like how Christopher Johnson got the keys to the Jets, essentially. Woody left.
Essentially.
And now Chris has no idea what he's doing. And he's now this is equivalent to
No, we're good.
He's in.
He's coming back.
I meant no idea what he's doing is in like Zoom wise. Because I gotta say, if I became the host right now, sorry guys, the show's over. I don't even know how. How am I letting them back in?
So what is your assessment of Kenny Galladay in the Giants uniform thus far?
Oh, would you like my assessment of one of the worst receivers in football through the first 15
Wow. One of the worst receivers in football.
Statistically speaking, I said through the first 15 weeks. He hasn't scored a touchdown. I mean, we're channeling Hakeem Nixon 2013 here. Except right now, the only defense of Galladay is that Jones is going to be out for the rest of the year. They announced that today. We kind of knew that already. He's been out the past 3 games. Mike Glennon, how he's even on, I'm going to say the word NFL roster at this point, because how he's even on an NFL roster is insane.
I mean, because Nathan Peterman's on an NFL roster. That's why.
Yeah. What's even crazier. Oh, you want to know what's funny about that? Mike Glennon was Nathan Peterman's backup in 2018 on Hard Knocks. And by the way, that's all the criteria you need to play for the Giants at this point. I mean, that's right. Perfect.
You mentioned Daniel Jones being out for the season. I have to ask you this. Yes. As a Giants fan, do you think he's done in a New York Giants uniform, and where do you see him going if he is?
He's not. I think that right now, he's going to be the QB next season. If they bring in, you know what I would really hope that they would bring in a veteran quarterback to try to get some competition in there.
I mean, Mike Glennon is a veteran, no?
A veteran that can throw a football. Let me.
There he is.
Yes. Let me. I mean, they moved on from Colt McCoy, but at no point in Daniel Jones' career has he had the competition, with the exception of Eli Manning, has he had the competition of another quarterback. So I think it would be good to bring in another guy.
If Gettleman is fired, Daniel Jones is gone. If Gettleman stays, I think Daniel Jones stays. Steph, I tabled the Galladay talk for you.
All right.
That's very kind of you, honestly. I was ready for you to continue it because clearly Verizon doesn't want me to be great. My internet doesn't want me to be great. Out here hoeing me. I
use a hoe.
You know what's wild too? It could have did it before I started or waited till the end, right in the middle while I was cooking. Disrespectful.
Chef it up.
That's because Verizon is a Giants fan. They believe in Galladay. Like I was saying, Deck.
Yes.
Galladay just is he's not been that guy. We've seen that time and time again. He's someone that cannot be relied upon, even to the point that Kadarius Toney now is your true number one. Even with all the injuries, he gives you the best chance when he's out there to win a game as opposed to Galladay. And I juxtapose it to Corey Davis because you were saying when the signings happened that Corey Davis was a blip, that he was just something that, we didn't have to report about. It could be back pages, whereas Galladay could be front because
I definitely didn't use the word back.
I am simply paraphrasing.
This is not paraphrasing. This is absurd.
It's the gist. Back pages is kind of how the energy was. That's all I'm saying.
He was paraphrasing.
But like I was saying though, you felt like Corey Davis just was not the wide receiver that Galladay is, and we've seen numbers wise, both teams are bad. All right, so it's not like we're saying that one is giving the other a wide receiver a chance to put up great numbers. But knowing that both quarterbacks have been bad, both offenses have been bad, Corey Davis statistically has been much better than Galladay and has been more of a presence than Galladay. So I kick it to you. Do you want to take back what you said about Galladay, or are you going to still stand by that?
Like, take back how happy
Mike,
I was about
Mike?
I mean, yeah, it was a bad signing, sure. He hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Bad signing, sure.
I mean, there is
that understatement. Let's sneak that one under there.
Yeah, I will naturally. But I mean, the Giants, they have had a history of bad signings over the past couple of years. This should come as no surprise.
You were surprised. You thought it was a great signing.
I mean, it was good at the time. I mean, it looked like a potential overpay with 72. But I mean, what are they supposed to do at this point? Just sign nobody and be terrible? At least, like, they were bad. The improvements had to be made.
They could have signed Corey Davis and they would have been better.
I don't think
so. You set yourself up for that, Deck.
I mean, what am I setting myself up for?
Because you literally said in the beginning of the season that Galladay was better than Corey Davis. The numbers do not show that.
Sure.
Here's
Manny in the comments. By the way, Manny, can you stay out of trouble and be able to keep your Facebook account for more than 3 days? I mean, what a disgrace. It's absurd.
Deck is back.
Yes, to Manny's excitement, I know this means a lot to him, so I'll direct it at him. Yes, I was wrong about Kenny Galladay. You guys got me. I know this means a lot, and congratulations.
It has more to do with the fact that whenever you are wrong, it's just because you're very loud and proud when you're right, and then when you're wrong, it's kind of like a whisper, and it's okay. I like that about you because I know what to expect.
Loud and proud when I'm right. You guys know. Did we forget we're on the sports hit list? Is where we are broadcasting.
Oh, we are.
So
yes, we are.
If anybody gets something right, we got to hear it from the mountaintops. All right. So let's not act like, Deck cares about being right. Oh, he doesn't admit when he's wrong. I just did admit when I was wrong. That's number one. Number two, listen, I'm not always right. Nobody's always right. But if I want to let you know I'm right, I'll let you know I'm right, and you'll eat shit. I don't know what else to say at this point. Welcome back to myself. I'll give myself a welcome back because you know what? I'm so done with all this ridiculousness that I'm just gonna be more of an a-hole if I need to.
I'm gonna welcome back your tender nerves because I just struck it so gently and it's just like Hey, Deck, I love you for that, and I'm glad that you responded that and reacted that way because it's what I expected. I'm glad that you also you backpedaled on Kenny Galladay because we all know now, looking at the numbers, he just is not that guy. But
yes, at the sports hit list where we write people off after a year of bad football.
So you think next year Galladay could be better?
If he's in a different uniform, maybe. But does Kenny Galladay?
Okay, I'm talking about for the Giants though.
Yeah. Oh, does Kenny Galladay
for the signing
because he came to the Giants? Oh yeah, it was a bad signing. Absolutely. I mean, Corey Davis hasn't necessarily been vintage OBJ. I mean, let's cool our heels on 400 yards. I mean.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you noticed again, but I was very much unstable with my internet. I missed just about everything you said, but do not worry. I won't have you repeat it. I understand what you probably said already. And I'll do you the added benefit of moving on to the next team because I know you're a little hot about Kenny Galladay. But let's get on to someone you do enjoy that's been in your top 5 numerous times for a QB of the week, and that's the Packers-Ravens game. All right. And I don't even know who I started with last, but Deck, I'll give it to you because you're a huge Rodgers fan. 31-30 or Packers over the Ravens. The contested game, questionable 2-point conversion call by John Harbaugh that has been talked about since that game. What do you make of this outcome?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting outcome. Aaron Rodgers was excellent, as usual, chasing the record and just performing really good. But as far as that whole call at the end, I actually agreed with John Harbaugh's call, and I'm going to say why. Okay. I think that going into overtime with Aaron Rodgers is just not a good look. It's not a good idea. And I think when you can win the game, you have a 50-50 shot to win. I do believe that they had a better chance to win right there than they did taking it into OT with Aaron Rodgers. That's just how I feel about the matter. And I also think that, excuse the voice crack, if it's a tie game, he's got 40 seconds left to score. I know it's the same if you do get it anyway. I think your best bet is to try to go for the win at that point in time. You have a backup quarterback going against Aaron Rodgers. Your chances are not good, and you're not going to want to risk a whole another quarter of issues. Sorry, I just saw Manny's comment. Didn't you say that I agreed last night? No, you must have had dicks in your ears. I don't even understand how you could have said. Whatever, never mind. And I agree with Richard
The
Carlos.
debate.
It was absolutely the play call that was wrong. Horrible play call from the beginning to roll him out and to have him stare down at I almost said Aaron Andrews, Jesus, Mark Andrews at the pylon when he had defense completely draped all over him was just such a bad play call, and that's where I have the issue. I don't have the issue with the decision. I have the issue with the execution.
Greg, you feel the same way?
No, I have an issue both weeks going for 2. When you have a Hall of Fame kicker sitting on the sidelines, tie the game, go into OT, and see what comes of it. At least you know you'll have a shot. Now, with this week in particular, yes, it's Aaron Rodgers, but there's also a 50% chance you get the ball back. Your backup QB just tied the game after being down 2 scores. Yes, the play call was bad, but the chances of getting a 2-point conversion are a lot lower than you kicking a field goal to tie the game and potentially try to stop Aaron Rodgers. At least you could say, hey, I went into this game, we tied the game, and we put our best foot forward. Now you lost the game, and that's 2 weeks in a row, games you could have had in hand and been number 1 overall seed in the standings and got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. You've kind of pissed that away now. Well,
I mean, here's how I would look at it. Statistically speaking, you have a 50% chance to win the coin toss in overtime with Aaron Rodgers. He gets the ball, or you guys get the ball. You guys being the Ravens, of course. I would take my shot with the 50% chance on the goal line to win the game than to put the coin toss and to risk putting the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hand to not even touch the ball in OT. I'm going to play.
That's the thing. I don't think it's a 50% chance you get in the end zone, especially when you call a rollout that takes away half the field.
Yeah, that is a
shout out to Chuck.
Play. That is an absolutely stupid play. Shout out to Chuck. Shout out to me. I was saying this yesterday.
Chuck just said it in the comments.
Oh, he did. Okay. Was it Chuck?
Whoa there.
Relax. It was also Richard Carlos said it as well. And he's completely
Shout out to the both of them.
The Browns came back. They're up 14-13.
Yeah, just
Danny, you really root for a poverty franchise, just like the Jets. My goodness. You can't even beat a 3rd-string quarterback. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Let's not call them the Jets as much as I've been going after.
Bro, at this point. Even as shitty as Zach Wilson has been, at least the Jets have been competitive in the last couple of games. And that's mostly because of their defense. But they were competitive this week. Okay. They were competitive in the first half of the Eagles game. But you're going against Nick Mullins, who is the 3rd-string quarterback. At this point, who are the Cleveland Browns receivers?
Yeah, Peoples Jones, right?
Manny, I need you to put a call in and let them know, get their act together, get Hunter Renfrow the ball, because this can't happen. This is embarrassing. I hear losing a 3rd-string quarterbacks.
Greg, I do want to know your take on this Packers-Ravens game. Didn't hear from you yet.
About the play?
Oh, no. I spoke to Deck as far as the game itself.
Oh, the game? I thought it was a great game. It should have been a Sunday night game, in my opinion. Even with the backup quarterback. I think Huntley showed that he can run the offense. I kind of wish Greg Roman would call a similar game with Lamar on the center, because I feel like the play calling has changed a little bit as opposed to early in the season with Lamar on the center. So I would like them to get back to more of like what Huntley was doing and, hitting Andrews early on, hitting those crossing routes in the middle of the field, as well as kind of running those not dives, but kind of the halfback options and stuff like that. What was I going to say? But I think the Packers are kind of cementing themselves as the cream of the crop in the NFC.
I can agree with that.
And they're doing this without Jair Alexander, so that's big.
Who's a top cover corner in football?
Yes.
Top 5 easily.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think you're hitting the nail on the head there. And Deck, you actually, weeks ago talking about Aaron Rodgers coming back to playing like Rodgers. I mean, I think we all expected that, but it's at the right time, exactly at the right time that they're hitting their stride offensively, and defensively. They've had more of a presence. I do want to bring up the night game because we had the Saints defeating the Bucks.
Real quick, Richard Carlo, he asked, does Huntley's success hurt Lamar? I do not think so. Lamar
I don't think so at all.
MVP quarterback. He's still a starting quarterback of this team. When healthy, he's going to play. I think Huntley, if anything, is putting on a good audition for himself in the future.
I don't think they let go of Huntley at all. I think they keep him as a backup just because it makes too much sense for a quarterback that runs, and then you have another backup that is comfortable in the system. You don't have to change drastically for him, and he can be successful and give you wins. I think as long as if anything, he's increased his value for the Ravens when that contract is up.
And update: Derek Carr just threw a pick.
Shocker. I like Derek Carr. I just don't like
Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad is furious right now. He's throwing his remote controller.
I mean, it's not that far to throw because they're close to the ground. So,
wow, that's a cheap shot. I think we could all admit that's a cheap shot.
15.
But like I was getting to, the Saints and Bucks night game, 9-0. This is the first time Brady's been held scoreless since 2006, I believe, which is weird to say
the
to
Nick
talk
Saban
about.
led Dolphins. One of Nick Saban's NFL achievements was beating Tom Brady.
Can I just say that Tom Brady picked the absolute worst time of the year to have one of the worst games of his career? It is about to cost me my matchup in my league because he only put up 4.9 points. He got outscored by Mac Jones this week and virtually every other quarterback that took a snap at this point. And watching my score, Tom Brady, Cordarrelle Patterson, and whatever game plan they got that's taking the ball out of his hands in Atlanta, and Mike Evans underperforming is just has me livid right now. I have to look at it and lose to Delano for another year in fantasy football.
Are you officially done in that matchup?
I mean, he has Cooper Kupp. I'm done. I'm up by like 12 with Hunter Renfrow having his worst game since Darren Waller's been out. Yo, Peter, just because you didn't make the playoffs in any league, all right, doesn't mean
tell Peter to stay in his lane. You know what? Because sometimes I've been hearing stuff about some of this leagues where Travis's stuff is getting vetoed and or vetoed. I don't know why I just said vetoed. I mean, I don't know what that was. I let the T hang a little too long there, but you know what, Peter? Some of this commissioner stuff, I don't know, man. I just can't do it. But as far as Brady goes, I don't look too much into it.
No, I'm not looking into it. I'm just pissed off about it. He'll be fine.
Fair enough.
I do want to address, shout out again to Richard Carlo, who's really been active in the chat. He said, we knew that Tom Brady's kryptonite is press man coverage and rushing with 4 consistently. Almost none out here. Almost none out. I think he might be saying here, a team in the NFL can replicate this tactic. Do you think it's a matter of just replicating this defense to stop Tom Brady?
Yeah, I mean, the Saints have played him well defensively, right? So it's clearly a personnel thing. They have the personnel to do it, right? And they also, one of the things the Saints do well is bring pressure without having to blitz, especially up the middle.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they got Cameron Jordan back, right? If I was not mistaken, he was out the week before.
Always the way to pressure Brady is up the middle.
Yeah. Real quick, Peter said he's in 12 leagues and he made the playoffs in 6. Well, Peter, I'm in 9 and I made the playoffs in 8. You can't sit with me.
Wow. Greg again dividing himself from others. All right. I want to get into, because we do have the Raiders and Browns going on right now. But I want to talk about the other Monday night game we're going to have at 8:15 coming up soon. That's Vikings Bears. And I want to know from Greg, start with you. Who do you have for this matchup and why?
I got the Vikings winning this. I ultimately think that their offense can put up enough points. I'm still wary of the defense, especially with a mobile quarterback like Justin Fields. I do think it can end up being a high-scoring affair. I just really hope Tyler Conklin does nothing. I need that.
I don't think so. Thielen's out, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
He's either out or limited. Going to be on snap count.
Yeah, they announced that he's out.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah, it's right the Jefferson, KJ Osborne, and Conklin show. Right, really.
Oh yeah, I mean,
well,
that's unfortunate. I mean that's unfortunate because, like I said, Delano has Cup and Conklin, and I'm done.
Yeah, it's looking like your playoff hopes are.
Yeah, and he's gonna beat me in the Sports Hitless League as well.
Oh man, that stings.
I have Cooper Cup, but I'm down like 60 points.
Hey, Cup has been pretty amazing this year. I'm just saying, like, possible. I would say it's a possibility. If they have any incentives.
Hold on. Chuck just said the Browns blew it.
What does that? I'm gonna have the game. I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah. What's going on, Chuck?
Talk to us because I haven't got an update on my phone yet. I'm looking at a 13-13.
Well, 14-13. I still got 14. Well, the internet is really tripping out, bro.
Bro. This is actually ESPN, I think.
So it's 14-13, bro. I'm not going to show the game because I don't want to get the show taken from me, but.
Okay, it's 29 seconds left. It looks like Dylan Carlson's on to kick a field goal. There was just a flag.
I can tell you right now, they're showing the replay. Derek Carr dropped back from the 50, and he threw a nice ball down to the, let's see. Nice avoiding pressure there by
they called a holding call, so I think it's coming back.
Look at these live updates we're getting here.
Tackled Myles Garrett a little bit, so it's 2nd and 11. The Browns didn't blow it, but
it was Zay Jones.
Yes, it's from the 40.
Yeah, 29 seconds left, 2nd and 11. So you guys are getting live updates here, Smoke and Mirrors, seeing if the Browns
8 yards actually going to blow. They got out of bounds. Reception to. Foster Moreau.
It's I'm sorry, that's after the 2nd and 11?
Yeah, so it's
where's the ball at right now?
It was more than 11, it was more than 8 yards. He got the first down, it was about 12. So it's 1st and 10 Raiders with 22 seconds left.
What's the ball at right now?
Ball is at the Browns. It's past midfield. I want to say it's at the Browns 40. It's at the Browns 45.
Okay. Got it. Let's move on.
I wish we got some more.
We'll tap back in on that one as that game's wrapping up. But Deg, let me get your take on this
field goal
next
range
game at 8:15.
Hit Zay Jones for 15 yards. Oh, they got to get up to the line. Whoa, wait a second. I'm sorry to interrupt. They got to get up to the line.
Yeah, no, please. Oh, I got no eyes on this.
They're gonna spike it at 1 second. Yeah, they got it. So Carlson,
wow.
It looks like the corner was holding Zay Jones' leg so he couldn't run. The play.
Yeah, wait, what's the ball at right now? What's this field goal going to be?
It's going to be a 47-yarder, I believe.
Okay.
30.
All right.
That's my mathematical estimate. I don't.
Okay, I was going to say it's not exactly a chip shot, so
it's a 47 or a 48-yarder. So Carlson's coming out now. It's going to be a 48-yarder. Baker, who is that? Oh, Nick Mullins is on the sideline. He's got his hand in his. Should we have a smoke and mirrors a live announcement? All right, the ball snapped. The kick is up. He missed it wide right. Oh, no, he got it.
Oh my gosh!
No, they iced him. Hold on, wait a second.
I can't watch it, so listening to Deck is like,
I did. Yeah, if you ever want to watch football with me, just expect a lot of sound. Man. Yeah. It was a kick.
Declan commentating.
The kick was. I actually did call a game this year, a color commentary. I could never do play-by-play. It looked like he just missed it, and Kevin Stefanski, I forgot he's out because of COVID. He just got the timeout, and he made it. It looked like he was gonna miss. It was kind of hovering on the right side, and he just got it. So
it's good.
Oh, it came. You have it.
Comments told us. Elijah Muhammad let us know. I'm happy because I picked him in the pick'ems, but I am still pissed off that Hunter Renfrow did nothing.
Very upsetting.
Be that way sometimes. Deck, we do appreciate your color commentary. It's your play-by-play. Actually, it was more like play-by-play.
Play-by-play, yeah.
Hey, you know what? The people didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on, and you filled us all in.
I'm glad I could help. Francesca used to do it when I was a kid, and it was terrible. So I'm glad I could do it pretty better.
But let's get you taking this next game.
With the hair. So he's asking for your take on the Vikings Bears.
Vikings Bears.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins will become 2-8 tonight on Monday Night Football, and I think the Vikings are going to win. Fields I've been very impressed with lately, despite having Matt Nagy as a play caller. I mean, you
Should
want
have
to
been the Jets quarterback.
Yeah, totally should have been the Jets
I'm
quarterback.
never gonna
again.
let that go.
Yeah, it's definitely bad. But so anyway, I think the Vikings are going to win tonight, and I think it's not going to be super close. I think that the Bears are going to have a generally not. They're not going to score too much tonight, but I think that the Vikings will be able to hold.
Greg, Washington, the football team at the Eagles, 7:00 tomorrow. Who you got?
This might be probably the toughest game to call this
All right,
week.
Travis.
I didn't say it's a tough one. I tried to stay away from that on purpose.
It was Travis adjacent. So,
but I'm gonna go football team here. All right, I'm gonna go football team. Wait, is it at Philly or
Yeah.
no?
Philly.
If it's in Philly, I'm gonna take the Eagles. I'm gonna give them the home field advantage.
Peter's got Eagles easily.
And I think because what happens is I think when Riverboat Ron gets down, he strays from the game plan of giving Gibby the ball too easily, and I think that's gonna come back to hurt them.
See, I think Riverboat Ron having the edge of head coach in this game is going to play a factor with the experience, and I think that this Washington team, despite a loss to Dallas, where they almost came back, is a hot team that is gonna come in here and win this football game tonight. I think they can contain Jalen Hurts even without Chase Young, and if they can stop him, they can really. I mean, if the Eagles aren't gonna run, if their Eagles are not gonna run the ball tonight, they're not gonna win. So you're running. It's not a knock on Jalen Hurts. That's just how they win football games, is through running the football. So if they're not gonna do that, they're not gonna win. Give me Washington tonight.
I just want to speak to Richard Carlos saying that Antonio Gibson's going to get 30 carries, 30 touches. I wish. I mean, my fantasy team would love 30 touches. Is Riverboat Ron going to do it? I feel like the chances are slim. I just don't think that he leans on him enough when they need to, and that is the flaw in this offense. Even though we've seen 4 games in a row where he had 25 plus touches and they won. I'm praying really for my fantasy hopes to continue into the playoffs, the next round of the playoffs, that he does get 30 touches, 30 plus touches. But I'm not optimistic about that at all. Oh boy.
Scary Terry's playing tonight.
Is he?
Yeah.
I benched him. So that means nothing to me.
Point though, Gibson is 27 touches.
Pete has a good point. A lot of the football team players are out due to the health and safety protocols, COVID protocols. So I do think it will be hard for them to contain Hurts. So give me the Eagles.
Eagles. I like it. All right, Deck. Seahawks, Rams.
Seahawks, Rams. Give me the Rams. I won't waste too much time.
Anti-Trav. I like it.
I was literally just going to say that. I cannot.
For those of you that want to see me continue in the playoffs in either one of these leagues, I'm going against Cup in 1 and I have Cup in 2, right? I want to see me continue. I need Stafford and Cup to combine for like 80 points. Just work with me here.
Greg is really making me cringe because he's breaking the rule that nobody cares about your individual fan.
Oh, listen.
I mean,
This is my plea to the people. I don't care if they don't care. This is my plea.
He needs literally every chance. Like, he needs anything right now. Basically. Man's throwing up a damn prayer. You're right.
When Tom Brady gives you under 5 points, you need prayers.
Yeah, I don't deny that. So getting to the end here, getting close behind or next up against that Monday night game. I do want to switch gears into another sport. I want to talk some baseball here because we did have some really big news for us Met fans specifically, where the Mets and Steve Cohen have decided to sign Buck Showalter, which there was we knew going into the offseason that they were going to need a new head coach, a new manager, and it was going to be important who they signed. And they brought a lot of guys in. There were some people who were favoring Buck. They wanted to see Buck. Others that wanted to go in the direction of Carlos Beltran, or a younger, more statistics-driven manager. But Buck is now selected as the Mets manager moving forward. And Deck, I'll start here with you. What did you make of this signing? Do you like it, and why?
Yeah, I like it. I'm good with it. I think that right now Buck Showalter was the best option out there. And I think that kind of manager, I don't even want to say it because he's not the most old school manager. Like you think of the Tony La Russos of the world and stuff and guys like that. He is a similar hire to the Astros and Dusty Baker with the way they bring him in. I think it's a good move to bring him in. You got a new team with a lot of guys. It is good to bring in a seasoned manager who can kind of bridge the gap between, these guys. A lot of these guys have not played together. I know in baseball you can get away with not having as much team chemistry, and I guess in playing together as opposed to playing together on a court. But I do like the Buck hire, and I think that out of the, I mean, you want Joe Espada managing this team right now? I don't. I mean, he was the third base coach for the Yankees. I'd take a guy who's managed before and a guy who has managed well throughout his career. So I like the hire.
Greg, your thoughts?
Not a fan, not in the least. And to say he's the best option out there, I believe is hyperbolic. And I think the Dusty comp is a little off because we've seen Dusty manage veteran teams. From what we've seen him do that. We've seen him compete with veteran teams. The Mets are not a young team. The Mets are a veteran team. I think Buck Showalter shown that he works best with those kind of young and up-and-coming teams where he can kind of mold players into how he wants them to be. And he may not be as old school as a Tony La Russa per se, but he is still old school. And I think in the way the game is shifting, I wanted a recently retired former player to manage this team that could kind of relate to these players a little more personably.
Like an Aaron Boone type.
No, because Aaron Boone is a robot. Aaron Boone is a robot.
That is the manager you're up against right now.
No, because Carlos Beltran, who was my initial pick, which I would have loved to get another shot, would have had some personality in there. And I think he would have related to the players much better than a Buck Showalter. I am not a fan of this hire, but I'm a Met fan, so I'm going to root for him to do well. But I do think it was one of those things where Steve Cohen, being an older guy, kind of thinking along the lines you're thinking, Deck, like, well, he's the best guy for the job. We got to go out and get him. And I think Scherzer kind of throwing his hat in the ring like, yeah, I want Buck. Solidified it, but I'm not happy with it.
I mean, can you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if Max Scherzer wants Buck, it's definitely something you put a little bit of value in. One of your top pitchers now. I mean, it is Max Scherzer. He's going out and saying you want Buck Showalter. What would that mean if you went out and hired somebody else? It's different.
He's already signed. Here's my thing. He just got here. Ask someone else.
He doesn't know the culture. I could agree with that. I could agree with that. He's not someone that knows the Mets culture. I wouldn't expect a recently signed free agent to be dictating who gets signed as the next manager.
I think it's a good thing that he doesn't know Mets culture, to be perfectly honest.
I'm not talking about what happens in the front office or like what some wayward players have, but like when you think about the core, right? Like Pete Alonso, your Jacob deGroms, even your Confortos. This is another guy that's been with the team for a while. Like there's a lot of BS that happens outside the locker room that does have an impact, and the media spins whatever they want to spin. But these guys and what they think is best for their team, they would know it because they've been there and they've grinded together, whereas Scherzer hasn't. So I can understand that. Greg, I don't necessarily agree with you in that. Like, I dislike it. I'm not as excited for it. I don't think it's the best signing.
I dislike it might be strong. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, I wasn't like, when I saw it, I was like, okay, like, let's see. I wasn't like, damn it, they really dropped the ball. And my thing here is that you have a Jeremy Hefner, the one person on the staff that was actually held over, a numbers-driven guy, and the Mets love him. I can potentially see a clashing there when Hefner is trying to make decisions based on the statistics and sabermetrics that maybe Showalter he's not ready to commit to. And that to me is where I think that there could be some friction, and then you don't want to see that, right? And so I don't know how Buck is going to manage this team. I do know how Jeremy Hefner has managed his pitching staff and how it has been successful enough for them to bring him back. But I can see like areas of that, because that's one thing Steve Cohen focused on, right? When he took the helm, he's like, we're going to be numbers driven. We're going to make sure that our department is going to be beefed up so that we are doing just like any other top tier team in the MLB right now is doing, looking at the numbers, making sure that statistics are a huge part of what we're doing. I don't know if Buck is going to co-sign that and be on board, being that he's run a ship a certain way for a long time. So that is my only kind of caveat.
Yeah, he said he wasn't resistant to analytics. Like that was the report that came out. So
the one thing I will say that I am looking forward to see in Buck is how he handles the pen. I do not think he will be as bad as Miguel Rojas. I don't think anybody can be as bad as Miguel Rojas. Sans Aaron Boone, of course. But it's like, or especially the starting pitches where you have a guy with 77 pitches, you know, throwing a one hitter in the 7th inning like a Taijuan Walker, and then you oust him, you know. So I look forward to Buck kind of seeing how Buck handles those things.
Same. I am excited to see what Buck can do, and by no means am I wishing him to fail because I want the Mets to win.
Oh, Deck. As we're talking baseball, there was a couple shows ago we had Paul Lawson on here, and he made some proclamations about the Yankees, and he said that the Yankees will be under 500. For the next couple of years, I believe. Yes, he said their reign is pretty much over, and they're going to be the 4th best team or 5th best team in the division for the next couple of years. Like what's your take on that?
Are you guys pranking me? Like, is that like he actually said that, or is that a joke?
Yes.
He actually said that.
We can pull the tape for you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. With a straight face, he said that.
Yes.
That is absurd. Wow, that is something. Okay, so the New York Yankees, who have never been under 500 in my lifetime, whose idea of a losing season, by the way, is wrong, in going with this half-ass rebuild and winning 85 games. So now they're going to win. Now they're going to go under 500 next year. Next year they're going to be under 500.
I believe that's what he said.
I believe yes. I think that was what it was.
So a team that won, what did they win? 90 games last year.
Yeah, 94, 95, kind of 93, maybe something in that range.
Is now gonna win 78 games with the core. They won 90 when we don't even know what the team is gonna look like. It's November, right? Or December. He said it in November, or did he say it in December? What?
I think it might have been December.
Either or.
Maybe end of November, early December for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first off, the Blue Jays got worse. In my opinion. I mean, you lose Marcus Semien, that's huge. So there's that. That's bad. And the Rays right now will be much better, and the Red Sox will be better. The Orioles will be bad. But this idea that they 78 wins, I mean, is that even? I don't even know if I want to address it. I'm not going to address it. The New York Yankees are not getting 78
I've
wins.
been doing that.
But yes, there we go.
I will say that Elijah Muhammad is in the comments. Shout out to Elijah. He wants to know what the Yankees have done so far.
You know what they haven't done so far? Win 78 games since he's been born. And Manny's how old? 30 something? Early 30?
Elijah. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's Manny. Elijah.
Where did his alias come from?
No idea. But we're gonna wrap things up. Deck, it's great having you back. Looking forward to having you consistently now. And also I meant to mention this earlier. It's good to see you out from under the bunk bed.
Yeah,
a lot of open air. You can stretch those arms.
It's it's like I took a mask off. Honestly, I had so much. It's clearer airwaves. You know, really just I'm ecstatic to be back home. As much as I do love it up there, it's nice to be back home and have a backdrop that is authentic.
I like the thinking man pose you have there, sir.
Before I close, shout out to Richard Carlo, very active in the comments. We appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
He's kind of been on the train that I've been on a while, but he says he do think there's a real plausible chance they trade Judge and they go under 500 next season. I do think if the Yankees want to be better,
blow it up,
like World Series competitors. I love Aaron Judge. I think he's great for the city, but I do not think he's great for the Yankees long term. And it has nothing to do with Aaron Judge. It has everything to do with how they make up the team.
That's fair. To say it has everything to do with the team and not Judge, that's totally cool. The only thing I will say is
it's always been that.
If they trade Judge, I don't think it's going to be this offseason.
Peter said you came back with some chin hairs.
Yeah, I didn't shave. It's been like 3 weeks. I'm sorry.
Yo, Peter must have this on big screen with a magnifying glass
I know,
inspecting deck right now.
So I'll say this: it is actually not to defend my face hair because I need to shave. It's you can see it a lot more in person. You know, we got a lot of a lot of the sides. The chin is actually, ironically, I haven't really been able to grow in the chin area as much. It's kind of not there yet. But Peter, thank you for looking out. I'm actually. Could I play for the Yankees? Is that at hand?
I do want to say I will be tuned into the Wednesday show to make sure that Carl addresses me as such.
Open court.
I'm sorry, open court. You know,
will it be open court? Open court means that anybody can come in.
I mean, in the basketball sense, because that's all they're going to be speaking about. But if I decide to dig Carl out of the ground after this episode and allow him to host his show, then I may pop in.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, here's the thing though, right? If it's one thing if you keep it to what the discussion was, which was versatility, correct?
Yes.
That's what the discussion was about. But he kind of pulled this Donald Trump stop the steal thing where he lost and then he pulled a Falco and he tried to change the whole narrative about how it's about something else. And so it's one of those things where Carl tried and he shot a Russell Westbrook air ball from 3.
I'm sorry. There's a call from Richard and from Elijah to address Falco. Don't forget Falco.
Well, Falco, in terms of the COVID thing, he was on his usual QAnon shtick, and it just didn't make sense. He was calling, the leftist communists. I mean, Falco, if you're out there and you're watching, which I doubt, I would love for you to come on this show one day or go on your platform, whatever, to discuss what a communist actually is, because I don't think you know. I don't think you know the basic components of communism, because you wouldn't say that the U.S. is a communist country. So you could hate COVID and the protocols all you want, as much as you want. Not everybody has to agree with them, but to just outright blab nonsense, it just doesn't make sense. You're better than that.
Are you going to bring the cigar? Because it gives some Fidel Castro vibes. He might not like it. I just might. Since we're talking about communism, I might tell him. I mean, I might put my professor hat on with the cigar and my little glass here. You know what I mean? I'm glad you were able to address it for the people. I will say, Peter's chatting again, as he likes to do. He said, you could help Steph Fanta basketball team. I don't have a delicious beverage basketball team. I have a fantasy basketball team, though. You can correct that if you want to. But
I mean, you want to talk about
high sugar content, but like it tastes good. Yeah. Don't you want to? Mm-hmm. So yes, I my fantasy team, like a lot
of people might not get that.
See, I get it.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Commercial voice.
But yes, my fantasy basketball team, like a lot of others, had I've been dealing with injuries too. I had COVID cases left and right. I was out 5 or 6 guys on Sunday. At this point, and we can all be honest, right? And I'll just address this to like a broad statement, because the Sports Hit List fantasy basketball group chat tends to be spicy, and
at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and there's some people. And I'm talking about Anthony Mullen, who I don't know what he does all day, because he literally he always has the time to write a soliloquy about everything, and I don't. All right, and I'm not as active as him, and I could say that straight up. I'm barely active in any other chats. But one thing that I will point out is when we're talking about matchups and going forward from this past week and how Omicron has been everywhere, Omarion been dancing everybody's lungs. You can't predict anything. You can't with a straight face say I'm going to win next week because my guys are better than your guys. It just isn't a thing anymore. All right. There's any chance that in a week you can lose half your squad, because when they go down, they had 3 games. They're not playing any of those games. You got to be lucky and hope it happened the week before so you can get maybe a game or 2 in the following week. So it's a sad state for fantasy right now, sports across the threshold. And I'm going. We're going. Ant. I'm going against him week 11. I think I mentioned this a while back. We'll see. I would love to be excited for it, but we'll really see because I don't think I'm going to have all my guys. Oh, he might even have all his guys. Thurgood, whatever his name is. What was it? Thurgood Marshall?
Marshall. I think it's
Jenkins.
Thurgood.
Marshall
look
makes
at that. You get fantasy basketball on Smoke and Mirrors, but I don't know what you get on that at the other show on Wednesday. But they will be debating about Chris Paul versus not Chris Paul. I'm sorry, Paul Pierce versus Carmelo Anthony. That's going to be the debate on the Wednesday show. So if you're looking forward to tune into that, we'll see.
I don't think he put out who's going to be on it.
I don't think he put it. He just.
No, he just said we just know it's going to be Carl. That's if the new tribal chief allows him to host this show.
Well, Carl is definitely in the body bag. We've acknowledged that.
Greg's gonna put some fake health and safety protocols on him to make him miss.
But yes, I just wanted to address that. But need to wrap up. Everyone, thank you as always for tuning in, checking us out. Smoke and Mirrors. We love the support. Always appreciate your again support, love, and affection, because you guys are so affectionate in those comments. I see you. But don't forget to comment, like, and share and subscribe to all of this content on YouTube, Facebook, and IG, as well as Twitch. I can't forget Twitch. We are now streaming on Twitch, so please check us out there. Our handle is SportsHL. Again, that is SportsHL. Coming up, we have the Fan Zone, and the new time is 6:30, if I'm not mistaken. Does anyone have an indication on that? Nope. No one knows. It is not 5 o'clock anymore. I know it's moved to potentially 6:30 or 7. You will have that information. We'll have that information out to you for Fan Zone tomorrow with Mike and Elijah. All right, because I guess we have to go by Elijah so people know when they see him pop up. But Wednesday, as Greg has mentioned, no longer the Wednesday show. Now open court at 4 p.m. with Carcool Lounge. They're talking about. I'm sorry. Say a piece. Say a piece.
No. I thought you froze. I was gonna pick up.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought you were about to say no. He's not hosting it because he's dead. And as I said last week, we apologize for not airing on Friday. Again, with my new schedule, we are working out what that is going to be, and we will make that announcement for you. However, Boss Man himself, hopefully he did it already, because if he didn't, he might not have a chance to, since he's in a body bag again. He posted about the holiday show, so we can look forward to the Christmas special, where we will be making an appearance on Saturday, so you can look forward to that. It is, as always, been a pleasure. I'm your host, Stefan Polius, alongside Declan Krogman and Greg Polius. Enjoy your weekend. Happy holidays to all. And we'll be seeing you on Christmas.